Lift every voice and sing. Come on now. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Lift every voice and lift every voice and sing. Lift every voice and sing to earth and heaven. Heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Come on and lift every voice and sing. Come on now. Oh yeah. Come on and on. Sing a song full of the faith that our dark past has brought us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. The present has brought us. And lift every voice and sing to earth and heaven. Heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Come on and lift every voice and sing. Come on now. Oh yeah. Come on and on. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on and on till victory is won. Come on and lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven. Heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Come on and lift every voice and lift every voice and sing. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven. Heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Come on and lift every voice and lift every voice and sing. Lift every voice and sing to earth and heaven. Heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Come on and lift every voice and lift every voice and sing. Come on now. Oh yeah. Come on and on and on and on. Yeah, yeah. So much to give. You got this time to share. You got this smile to wear. You got this heart to love. You got to rise above. You got so much to say. Gotta love somebody like you love yourself. Say, you got so much to learn. You got respect to earn. You got to live your dream. You got this song to sing. You got a job to do. You got a point of view. You got to do the work. Gotta love somebody like you love yourself. Say, gotta love somebody like you love yourself. 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 Love somebody like you love yourself.
When you wake up and you see the sunrise, when you look up and it's love for the first time, when you see a shooting star in the night sky, when you help a friend make it through the traffic, when you read the book and see yourself in it, when you make a difference and you know the world knows it.
It's everything we do, everything we say, everything we are. Yeah, that's so libre, Torah, Torah. That's so libre, Torah. It's what we do, what we say, how we live our lives with meaning every day. That's so libre, Torah.
La Asok B'divrei Torah, doing words of Torah. Thank you, Dan Nichols, thank you, Rick Recht, for that wonderful music. Let me just make one little adjustment here. Get the glare out of the lens of the camera. Hope everybody's doing well on this Erev Shabbat. It's good to have you with us. I'm just going to open up a little window here just in case I need to see any of my friends who are with us on Facebook Live. I'm operating a bit solo tonight because Rabbi Kupitz is not with us, so give me 1 second here. Cool. And I hope everybody's doing good out there. I'm going to do a little couple of opening songs, and then we'll do some tefillah, and we'll tell a story just like we always do. And let's see, here we go. Hine matovu manayim shevet achim gam yachan. Hine matovu manayim shevet achim gam yachan. Hine matov manayim shevet achim gam yachan. Hine matov manayim shevet achim gam yachan. Do with me now. Hine matov manayim. Everybody out there, clap your hands. Hine matovu manayim shevet achim gam yachan. Hine matovu manayim shevet achim gam yachan. Now, hine ma tov umanaim, words in Hebrew from the book of Psalms, part of the Hebrew Bible, means how good and how beautiful it is for all of us to be together as one. And it's very cool that we're all here. Just want to make sure that we're all there. Let me just see here. 1 second. For some reason, oh, there we go. I was worried I wasn't seeing us. There are like so many people on who are gathered here for Shabbat, and it's so wonderful to see. And I'm going to sing a song about one of my favorite things having to do with Shabbat, and that's Chala, Chala, oh my Shabbos, Chala, 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 it's yummy, delicious, and sweet. La 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 ya, la la la. Well, sometimes I bake it with raisins, sometimes with chocolate chips, sometimes I even use currants, so tasty on my lips. I love that challah, challah, oh my Shabbos challah, 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 yummy, delicious, and sweet. La 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 la. Sometimes I eat it with butter, and sometimes I eat it with jam. Sometimes I even use Nutella, don't you? 'Cause that's the way I am. I love my challah, challah, oh my Shabbos challah, 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 yummy, delicious, and sweet. La 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 la. Before it goes into the oven, we give the dough a special twist. It bakes up so brown and delicious, with a smell I can't resist. Smells just like challah, challah, oh my Shabbos challah, 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 yummy, delicious, and sweet. La 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 la. Well, you probably think that we're finished, but singing's just so much fun, especially when we sing about challah. Our singing's never done. I love that challah, challah, oh my Shabbos challah, 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 yummy, delicious, and sweet. La 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 la. Let's do one more. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, yabbi babbi babbi bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Bim, Bam, Bim, 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 Bam, Bim, 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 Bam, Yabbi, Babbi, Babbi, Bim, Bam, Bim, 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 Bam, Bim, 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 Bam. There it is. Knew that was bothering me. You know what? The best way to start our Erev Shabbat is with the kindling of Shabbat candles, of Erev Shabbat lights of Nerot. So let's do that. If you can have candles at home, you can do that with me. First, I'm going to light my wicks. Then I'm going to make 3 circles, one for myself, one for my family and friends, and one for all the people in the world. And then we're going to say those beautiful words. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. And now that we have our Shabbat candles lit, we can welcome the Shabbat as if it were a bride, as if it were a queen. And we do that with a song called Lecha Dodi, Behold my beloved. Let us greet the Sabbath bride. Lecha Dodi, Likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabla, Lecha Dodi, Likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabla, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom umevorach, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom umevorach. Lecha Dodi, Likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabla. Well, now that we've welcomed the Shabbat Queen into our presence, we can ready ourselves to say thank you to God for the beautiful week that we've just experienced, and thank also the Holy One for giving us a day that we can rest, and we do that with words of Baruch Hu. So if you are able to rise in your particular spot, you can join me. Lai la 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 la, lai la 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 la, lai la 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 la, lai la 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 la. Lai la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach, mevorach leolam va'ed. Ha-mevorach, ha-mevorach leolam va'ed. Now we emphasize how we are all part of one people, one nation, and we're all connected through God, one God, by saying Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Now, every morning service and every evening service, our tradition says we should remember that way long ago, many years ago, generations ago, probably about 127 to 133, but who's counting? We were not a free people. We were servants to someone called Pharaoh in Egypt. And Pharaoh did not treat his workers very kindly. He was not he was very mean to them. And eventually a man named Moses arose, motivated by the word that he heard God speak to him. And he said, Pharaoh, you let my people go. And it didn't work at first. Took him a little while. Took a little persuading, but finally Pharaoh agreed to let the Israelite slaves leave Egypt and begin a journey to what we now know as the Promised Land, the land that God had told the Israelite people, who we are descendants of, that they ultimately would find a home in. And a miracle happened, and we read about this in the Torah just a couple of weeks ago. A miracle called the parting of the sea. And at the other side, as the Israelites walked through dry land and the sea parted so they didn't get all wet and all drowned and there wasn't a big mess, they sang these words of gratitude called Mi Chamocha. Who is like you, God? My goodness, look at what you just did to help us. Mi chamocha b'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei felech. Try that with me. Mi chamocha b'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei felech. Malchutcha ra'u v'anecha, bokeam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze'eli anu, ve'amru Adonai meloch le'olam va'ed. Mi chamocha, everybody. Mi chamocha b'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei felech. Nora tehilot oseh feleh. Nora tehilot oseh feleh. Now, every service, really, but especially on Shabbat, we recall our ancestors, not only the ones who crossed through that sea many, many, many thousands of years ago, but also those who preceded those ancestors, people like Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, and women like Rebecca and Sarah and Rachel and Leah, and we remember them and remember how important they were to our history, our story, our Jewish story, and we sing words of thank you to them by singing Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham, ve'ezrat Sarah. Now, did you hear all the names in there? There were 7 names in there. Gee, one for every day of the week almost. Oh, I guess one for every day of the week, not even almost. Well, we're getting very close to story time, and the greatest story that is told by the Jewish people is the story of our history and the story of our traditions and the story of people like Abraham and Sarah and Isaac and Rebecca and Rachel and Leah and those wonderful four people that came, those who came before us. And while we're not going to read from the Torah today, we are going to read a story, but we sing a song about how Torah is our tree of life, right? It's our tree of life. All of our knowledge comes from Torah, and we are grateful for that, and we sing Eitz Chaim hi lemachazikim ban v'tomcheha me'ushar Eitz Chaim hi lemachazikim ban v'tomcheha me'ushar. Everyone say shalom with me. Shalom, 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 shalom. It is a tree of life to those who hold fast to it. All of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to those who hold fast to it. All who embrace it are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom. Cool. Okay, so before I tell my story, I'm going to put down my guitar. Fits right into the convenient holder right behind me. And this is one of my favorite stories. It comes from a collection of a man called Rabbi Nachman Bratslav, from Rabbi Nachman from Bratslav, and it's called The Prince Who Thought He Was a Rooster. There once was a prince who thought he was a rooster. While other princes spent days slaying dragons and courting princesses or learning how to rule a kingdom, this prince cast off his royal robes and spent his days crouching beneath a table, refusing to eat any food except kernels of corn. Huh, isn't that strange? His father, the king, was very upset at this behavior. His father said, "Send for the best doctors in all the land. A great reward will be given to anyone who can help my son." The doctors came from all corners of the kingdom, and each one tried to cure the prince, but not one of them succeeded. The prince still thought he was a rooster. He ate corn, he preened his feathers, he strutted around crying, When the king had almost given up hope, a wise man passing through the kingdom appeared before him. "Let me stay alone with the prince for 1 week, and I will cure him," said the wise man. He said to the king. "Everyone else has failed," the king moaned, "but you are welcome to try." Thus the wise man entered the prince's chamber. There he took off his clothes, crawled under the table, and began to eat kernels of corn, just like the prince. The prince looked at the man with suspicion. "Who are you?" he asked. "I'm a rooster," said the wise man, and he continued to munch the corn. After a short while, he asked, "Who are you?" "I too am a rooster," said the prince. And after that, the prince treated the wise man as an equal. The two strutted about, preening their feathers and crying. When they had made their home under the table for a while and become good friends, the wise man suddenly crawled out onto the prince's chamber and he dressed himself. The prince was shocked. "A rooster doesn't wear clothes," he said. The wise man remained calm. "I'm a rooster, and I'm wearing clothes." The prince considered this for a day or two. Then he decided to imitate his new friend, and he too put on clothes. A few days later, the wise man took some of the food that was being delivered to them every day, food that they had refused to eat. He carried it beneath the table and he ate it. The prince was astonished. "Roosters don't eat that kind of food," the prince said. But the wise man calmly said, "A rooster can eat any food he wants and still be a good rooster." And he continued to eat the tasty food. Prince watched this for a while. Then he decided to imitate his friend again, and he too ate the food. The next day, the wise man stopped crouching beneath the table. He stood up proudly on his 2 feet, and he started to walk like a man. "What are you doing?" the prince asked. "A rooster can't get up and walk around like that." But the wise man said firmly, "I'm a rooster, and if I want to walk like this, I will." And he continued to walk upright. The prince peered at him from beneath the table. Then he decided to imitate his friend again, and he too stood up and walked around on his 2 feet. So, in this way, the prince began to eat, dress, and walk like a man. The week's time was up, and no longer did he act like a rooster. The king was overjoyed, of course, and welcomed his son back with open arms. And as for the wise man, why, he collected his reward, and he went happily on his way. A story from Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav. So we're going to do one more of our Shabbat songs, and then we'll have our family blessing. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom to you and all my friends. Shabbat candles, they're burning bright. Shabbat candles burning bright. Shabbat candles are burning bright. Let us know it's a Friday night. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom to you and all my friends. Well, Shabbat challah, good to eat. Shabbat challah, so good to eat. Shabbat challah, it's good to eat. It's a special Shabbat treat. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom to you and all my friends. For Shabbat day, it's my favorite day. Shabbat day, my favorite day. Shabbat day, it's my favorite day. It's the day I get to say Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom to you and all my friends. So I just want to say before we move to close, a couple of words, a couple of things. Certainly, Rabbi Kupitz sends everyone out there a Shabbat Shalom. Sorry he wasn't able to be with us tonight, but as I mentioned earlier, he is supporting one of his student rabbis, someone that he works with, young woman who working on being a rabbi, and he's joining her online for her online service today. And I want to encourage you, if you are watching on Facebook or YouTube or any of our other channels, that if we don't know you well, or if we don't know how to get in touch with you, or thank you for being there directly, other than maybe seeing you in the chat, if you want to know more about Temple Beth Israel, especially more about our programs for young people, and as we're starting to look forward to being together again physically, as the COVID precautions, the effectiveness of the COVID precautions let us look forward to that. We invite your engagement. Send us an email to tbi@tbipomona.org. Send us a chat on Facebook. Whatever you choose to do, we would love to get to know you better, especially if you're not formally affiliated with our synagogue. And I also want to say one of the greatest ways to get formally connected with our synagogue, well, maybe not formally, but at least directly, is if you want some Hamantashen for Purim, and you just can't find them at Vons or Stater Brothers, or they're kind of like maybe we don't really know when they were made. I've got an idea for you. If you go to our TBI website at tbipomona.org, or if you look on our Facebook page right at the top, or at the TBI Preschool Facebook page, you will find a link to our Hamantashen distribution platform. We're actually going to be picking up Hamantashen from a wonderful bakery in the San Fernando Valley called the Continental Kosher Bakery. And we're going to package them up for those who choose to order them and have them available starting a week from this coming Sunday for the 4 days prior to Purim. Purim, by the way, starts on Thursday evening into Friday. So we'll have a special Purim service. I want to give you a heads up about that too. Purim service, not this coming Thursday evening, but a week from Thursday. We invite all the kids to dress up in costumes. We invite the adults to dress up in costumes. And we'll give you the Zoom link, so we'll all come on Zoom together, and we'll tell the story of Purim, and we'll dance around whatever space we have to dance around it, and really spread the joy of Purim, because on Purim we are supposed to be joyful. So other than that, check your TBI emails for any other upcoming events. There are a lot of them, but I especially wanted to mention those. And as we move to close, gather your family together so we can sing our family blessing together. Yivarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha May God bless you with good and keep you safe. Yair Adonai panav elecha vichuneka. May God be with you and be kind to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom shalom. May you always know that God is close, and may God give you the gift of peace. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll be back in about 25 minutes with our regular service on this same TBI Facebook Live channel. Please join us then if you choose to. Otherwise, to all of our families and all of my friends out there, Shabbat Shalom. See you soon. Thanks so much for being here.